Hello and welcome. My name is Erica Jenkins, and this presentation is called Canvas Ignite AI, utilizing UTAUT to understand AI adoption. In this reusable learning object, I will look at how instructors may decide whether or not to use artificial intelligence tools in their courses, with a particular focus on Canvas Ignite AI. I will use the Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology, or UTAUT, as the main framework for understanding those decisions. I chose this topic because AI is becoming more visible in higher education, and faculty are being asked to respond quickly to new tools, new expectations, and new concerns. Along the way, I will define the main concepts, apply the 4 UTAUT constructs, and give course-based examples, and end with short assessment questions. By the end of this RLO, you'll be able to evaluate how Canvas Ignite AI features influences instructors' intentions to use AI in their courses. We'll be doing this using the 4 UTAUT constructs: performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions. As graduate students in ALEC 640, you'll apply these constructs to real course-based examples, moving beyond just understanding the theory to actually using it in practice. Before we get into what Ignite AI in the UTAUT framework is, let's briefly talk about what a reusable learning object, or RLO, actually is. It's a short, self-contained learning experience focused on a single learning objective. It's designed to stand on its own, but it can also be reused or combined with other learning objects in different courses or contexts. RLOs often blend visuals, narration, and interactive elements, such as images, audio, and photos or text, to support focused learning. In fact, this presentation itself is an example of an RLO in action. It is designed to be concise, but still complete enough to help learners understand a theory, see it applied in context, and demonstrate learning through assessment. So now let's focus on what Canvas Ignite AI is. Ignite AI is instructors' integrated artificial intelligence platform that's built directly into Canvas, the learning management system that many institutions and faculty already use. Its goal is to simplify common teaching tasks while still keeping instructors in control. Features of Ignite AI include AI-generated discussion summaries, AI-assisted grading and feedback, quiz question generation, and smart search and translation tools. At a high level, Ignite AI promises less time spent on repetitive tasks such as reviewing student discussions, responding to assignments, and building assessments, and more time focused on teaching and student engagement. But the presence of these features does not automatically mean instructors will want to use them. Adoption depends on how useful, easy, supported, and socially accepted the tools appear to be. That is where UTAUT becomes valuable. UTAUT stands for the Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology. This model was developed by Venkatesh and colleagues to explain why people choose to adopt or reject a technology. In simple terms, the theory says that people often consider 4 main factors: performance expectancy, which asks whether the tool will actually improve their work; effort expectancy, which asks whether the tool is easy to use; social influence, which focuses on whether important people around them expect or encourage them to use it; and facilitating conditions, which refers to whether the person has the support, the resources, or the infrastructure needed to use those tools successfully. Together, these constructs help us identify and understand instructor decisions around AI tools like Ignite AI, because adoption in teaching is rarely based on only one issue. It usually involves a mix of usefulness, workload, peer expectations, and institutional support. So looking at the UTAUT and Ignite framework together, Performance expectancy appears when instructors believe IgniteAI will save time, improve productivity, or help them make instructional decisions. For example, if discussion summaries help an instructor quickly identify common themes or confusing points, then the tool may be seen as improving teaching performance. Effort expectancy is reflected in the fact that IgniteAI is embedded within Canvas, rather than existing in a completely different platform outside the system. That may reduce the learning barrier because instructors do not have to leave the system that they're already familiar with. Social influence can come from department chairs, faculty peers, teaching centers, or institutional messaging that can encourage experimentation with different AI tools. And then facilitating conditions include training workshops, technical support, data privacy guidance, and clear policies on what acceptable AI use is within that institution. Together, these constructs help explain why one instructor may see IgniteAI as a welcome support tool, while another may hesitate to use it. Now let's look at our examples. For the first one, it focuses on discussion summaries. Dr. Nicholson here teaches a large online course with about 150 students. Weekly discussion boards generate hundreds of posts, which traditionally take him hours to review. By enabling IgniteAI's discussion summary feature, he'll receive a concise overview highlighting major themes, repeated questions, and areas needing follow-up. From a UTAUT perspective, performance expectancy is high because he's saving roughly 2 hours per week doing these discussion summaries. Effort expectancy is also high since this feature is easy to enable and quick to use because of a one-click feature. Social influence is positive due to departmental encouragement, or when his peers or instructional designers model these features as a helpful teaching practice. And facilitating conditions are strong thanks to institutional licensing and training, especially when the institution provides examples, workshops, and guidelines, so these instructors know when to trust the summary and when to read more deeply for themselves. All four constructs support continued use, with performance expectancy likely the strongest driver. Our second example focuses on AI-assisted grading. We have Professor Elliott, who teaches an undergraduate chemistry course. She uses short answer questions to assess student understanding, but grading them takes significant time. IgniteAI's grading suggestions provide a first pass aligned with her rubric, which she reviews and adjusts. This feature may offer strong performance expectancy because grading is one of the most time-consuming tasks in many courses, especially large online courses. If the tool makes feedback faster and more consistent, instructors may see real practical value in using it. However, with effort expectancy, it may be more complicated than our first example. Even if it's built into Canvas, instructors still need to understand how to build those clear rubrics, review the suggestions, and then decide when revision is necessary. Social influence may play a role, especially when students are expecting timely feedback or departments are promoting efficient grading practices. And then facilitating conditions, it's especially important in this example because institutions are going to need clearer policies, training, and ethical guidance around bias, transparency, and an oversight on how to use these rubrics. So it may look efficient, but it also does raise some serious questions about trust and responsibility with AI. In this example, Instructor Williams is teaching 4 sections of the same course, and she needs a short quiz ready for the next module. Rather than starting from a blank page, she uses IgniteAI question authoring in Canvas to generate a first draft of questions from her course materials. With question authoring, instructors can select a topic, choose a learning outcome, and pick a question type. This highlights the real-world impact of AI on people's work. IgniteAI can make quiz building faster, cut down on repetitive drafting, and support more consistent assessments across multiple sections. but it's not a set it and forget it tool. Generated questions often need polishing. The difficulty may miss the mark for a particular group of students, and some instructors may feel that too much automation can get in the way of intentional, thoughtful assessment design. It also works the other way around. People shape how AI is used. Instructor Williams decides what materials to pull from and checks the alignment to the learning objectives. Students shape future use through their performance and feedback, and institutions shape use through policies, training, and clear expectations for responsible assessment design. When AI enters a classroom, the conversation shifts fast, from features and settings to values and trust. So this highlights the cultural and institutional questions that show up right away about academic integrity, faculty norms and expectations, student experiences, as well as some concerns such as workload and time pressure, access and equity to support, trust in exactly what the AI is saying, and then also about data privacy and AI policies. These issues matter because technology adoption doesn't happen within a vacuum. A tool can become available in Canvas, but it can still be resisted if it clashes with beliefs about what good teaching is, if it raises concerns about academic honesty, or it can create an unequal access to guidance between both instructors and students. On the other hand, adoption tends to move faster when AI is framed as responsible support, so something that strengthens instructor judgment instead of replacing it. So AI adoption isn't just clicking a button. It's how a teaching community defines quality, integrity, trust, and responsibility. Now we're going to zoom out and look at it from the organizational and institutional change. So when an institution adopts AI, it can quietly kind of reset what normal teaching looks like. Once tools like Canvas, IgniteAI are available, new expectations are going to follow. What is it about faster feedback? What it is about quicker grading turnarounds or more automated course management? That's going to shift what counts and is effective teaching. And it's going to push institutions to clarify policies on academic integrity, transparency, privacy, and what the boundaries of acceptable AI use is to them. But these changes also raise equity questions. So not every instructor is going to have the same access to training. They're not going to be the same confidence level with new technology or have the time to experiment. And students are going to vary in what their expectations and comfort levels are too. That's why successful AI adoption is more than a technical rollout. It's going to require thoughtful change management, which consists of clear communication, institution practical support, and policies in place that address everyday workflow needs as well as ethical responsibilities. So now we've moved on to the assessment portion of this RLL. So these activities are designed to measure whether you can apply all 4 UTAUT constructs to real scenarios. You're going to analyze examples, identify adoption factors, and critically evaluate claims about AI's impact on teaching. So take your time with these questions. They're meant to encourage understanding and reflection. The first assessment question is going to check whether you can correctly identify the 4 UTAUT constructs in context. So each statement is going to point to a different kind of technology adoption factor. IgniteAI is built directly into Canvas, so I don't have to learn a different system. I believe IgniteAI discussion summaries will help me understand what students are saying more quickly. Our institution offers training sessions and weekly workshops for IgniteAI-related questions. My department chair has encouraged all faculty to try IgniteAI in at least one course. The second assessment question asks learners to identify one IgniteAI feature and then describe one factor that increases performance expectancy and one facilitating condition that the institution would need. I like this question because it requires a more applied response. And the last question is more analytical. It compares two instructors, instructor A, who teaches a small seminar, who decides not to use IgniteAI, and instructor B, who teaches a large online course, who decides to use both discussion summaries and AI-assisted question authoring. I'm going to ask you to identify at least 3 UTAUT constructs that might explain the different decisions, and to give one example for each. This question is valuable because it shows that adoption decisions really depend on the context. So, we explored Canvas IgniteAI as an AI platform that's integrated into Canvas, and we also used the UTAUT framework to understand instructor adoption. We examined 2 scenarios. We were able to discuss human and organizational impacts, and we emphasized the importance of institutional support and culture. The key takeaway is that successful AI adoption depends on much more than just the technology itself. All sources used in this RLO are listed here in APA 7 format if you'd like to explore any of these topics further. Thank you for engaging with this RLO. I hope it's helped you evaluate AI adoption in higher education. Thank you.